Did you know bananas are actually classified as berries? But if we're really honest about what they look like a big bunch of
Bananas. A big bunch of bananas. Alright, so you're probably wondering, why the F do I have bananas in here? Why the F do I have sweet potatoes in here? It's because today's topic is potassium. Now, I've heard tons of people say, oh, you've got a cramp? Oh, you should get some potassium. Go and eat a banana. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's what I'll introduce this piece with. Because so many people think of bananas when they think about potassium. But there are better sources out there. I want you guys to know that. And now, on to potassium! Now, potassium is a pretty interesting mineral. You don't hear it brought up in the debate about how salt affects our blood pressure, but potassium can help you lower your blood pressure. It's kind of like the opposite of sodium in that regard. Well, not just that regard. They actually work together for a couple of bodily processes. Affecting blood pressure just happens to be one of those things. Potassium and sodium, they also complement each other in another regard. Whereas potassium will help you get rid of fluids from the body, generally, sodium helps you retain them in the body, most of the time. There's some exceptions, but leave those out. So effectively, potassium and sodium help regulate the homeostasis of the body. Did you know that potassium can help you control your blood sugar? I know, right? So, potassium, it is necessary for the secretion of insulin, and you need insulin to be able to control your blood sugar. Your pancreas is supposed to secrete insulin when you have too much sugar in your blood, but say for example, if you're lacking potassium, that might impair the pancreatic function. So that would be something to consider. I thought that was a really important point that I came across because in America we have a real sugar problem. So I don't know. I thought that was important. So potassium also plays its role in nerve health. Sodium and potassium together create a electric potential that helps fire off neurons or fire off neurotransmitters in the neurons. So sodium and potassium essentially help to make our neurons more like railguns. So pretty neato. And they also help to contract our muscles. You need both potassium and sodium in order to make muscle contractions. Ay. Not only that, but potassium and sodium also help with muscle contractions, or rather, you need them for muscle contractions, so get some. You also need potassium for creating muscles, so that's another good reason to manage your potassium intake. Think about that. And last but not least, potassium is incredibly important for carbohydrate metabolism. And by that I mean it's useful for converting glucose into glycogen. Glycogen is it's basically a stored version of glucose that we use for energy. And it's stored in the liver whenever we need to retrieve some of that energy. When we're done burning off the glucose that we have available, we'll tap into that glycogen. And most of the time, that's a good thing. Unless you're trying to fast or something and trying to lose weight, then I guess, yeah, you can try to burn through it, whatever. Eat yourself. Eat your glycogen self. Whatever. You know what I mean? Probably. Alright. So, where are you gonna get all that potassium from, huh? Well, I got a nice list. And I'm just gonna read off a couple of these because you guys can see the list to my right that I'm gonna put up eventually, and I'll post a link to this one so that you can see the rest of these, just in case they're cut off or too small to see. Sweet potatoes. They're actually, ironically, better than regular potatoes, but I won't get too deeply into that. Yeah. Tomato paste, baked grains, get some of that stuff. White beans. Honestly, I would go for sweet potatoes because, well, they're sweet. They're not sweetened with sugar though. That funny thing about that, they're sweet because of a sugar alcohol, so your body doesn't treat it like regular sugar. So in that regard, it's better. And there's some other reasons why sweet potatoes are much better than regular potatoes, but I won't get into that. And I don't want to throw out potatoes in general. Yeah, they are a good source of potassium, but um, they are very good at raising your blood sugar. So I don't want anyone to just indiscriminately eat a really high source of potassium and then say, I've got great control over my blood sugar, because that is not how it works. It's much more complex than that. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. See, they put molasses in there, and that still has sugar in it. Not as much as regular sugar, but still got sugar. They put some juices in there. Yeah, if you're cool with drinking juices, that's fine. It's fine. Lima beans. Totally recommend beans, especially if they're sprouted. Even better. And bananas. Mm-hmm. Mm. All right, guys. I'm gonna leave you with that, and catch you guys later. See ya.